So, in this video, I'm going to talk through another one of my low competition sites. This site was started in March 2020. It's in a niche that I stumbled upon while I was doing some keyword research for a different site. When I looked into it further, I discovered that there weren't really any dedicated content sites around this topic. Now, there were some huge content sites which had sections dedicated to this particular topic. There were also a few forum sites and other microsites, but none of them had any solid content strategy. So I saw an opportunity to build a focus site specifically around this small niche. And that's exactly what I did. So to start off, I began with keyword research, making sure that there were good opportunities out there, there was enough stuff to write about, and there was. So I got writing and I hired one writer from Facebook. My content strategy was really simple. I put together about 10 different topical clusters of closely related articles, and then I simply find as many keywords as I can within each cluster. Check what the search intent is behind each keyword, and to do that, all I do is I search in Google for the keyword, see what kind of thing is ranking top, and then if it's something that I can replicate, I get it written and added to the site. My keyword research strategy for this site was also really simple too. I mostly use the alphabet soup method. If you haven't done that before, it's quite simple. All you do is you go to Google, you type in your keyword, then you put A at the end and see what Google suggests, and then you repeat it for B, C, D, all the way through the alphabet. Then I used keywords everywhere to check the volume of those suggestions, and if the suggestion had at least 10 searches a month, then I'd get an article written up. At the moment, I've got just over 200 articles on the site. I'm paying $25 per 1,000 words. Now, a lot of these articles are quite a bit shorter than 1,000 words because they're answering just very simple questions that really don't need huge, long articles writing. Altogether, I've got about 190,000 words on the site at the moment. The bulk of those were written by the writer I got on Facebook. A few of the earlier ones were written by me. Also, I've recently written a few using conversion.ai, did a video on that before, for some of the really simple stuff that doesn't need too much research. So let's dive in, let's have a look at the actual traffic and revenue. So you see I started it there in March, got no users at all. Then sort of July it started to pick up a bit until September where it hit 10k users. I got it on Ezoic that much because back then they had the 10k limit. They've since took that off now, so you can put your site on Ezoic with any number of hits. And after that, it kind of dropped down all the way to 5k, which I don't think was anything to do with Ezoic. I think it was just purely algorithmic. And then from there, it did climb back up. And then from February onwards, it really started to rapidly shoot up all the way up to July last month, which was annoyingly 10 users less than 50,000. So you can see on Ezoic, it made nothing for the first 6-7 months. September, if you remember, it hit 10k there, so I signed up to Ezoic. You can now get on Ezoic with a lot less than that. I think they've removed their limitations. Jumped up to about $50, but for a long time it kind of flatlined really. Jumped up to almost 70 there. In February it really starts to take off, so it almost doubles there, doubles again, almost doubles again, and almost doubles again. So it's reached this peak here of over $850 the last 2 months. So in terms of Amazon earnings, hasn't made a great deal of money. You see, last year, Amazon US, it made a total of just under $30, which is certainly not massive. Creeping up towards the end of the year, obviously for Christmas, but even then only $13, which is pretty tiny. This year it has improved again, but I haven't really focused on it. So the highest earning month was last month, July. We did $70. I do want to try and get this up to about $500 a month. It's made a tiny bit in the UK, but literally a very tiny bit, £5.33. So I'm mainly focusing on display ads, as I've said with this site. I do think there's definitely potential to really push us up to at least 500. So that's going to be one of my focuses going forward with this. So my total spend on content to get to this point has been $3,223. At the end of June, I hadn't quite turned a profit. However, in July, it finally moved into the green. It's now made more than I spent on it, which is great. Now you can see that there's a big spike that starts kind of in about February and it just climbs up and up from there. Now this was because of a freak stroke of luck. So a news story in my niche broke in February, and one of the sites that first broke the story linked to one of the few top ranking articles I had to give a bit of background information relating to this sort of general topic. This story was then syndicated by over 200 other news sites. Now at this point my site was getting about 300 sessions a day, and I remember checking Google Analytics and seeing 1,500 users in one day and thinking, oh no, it's some sort of bot attack or it's just a load of spam. So I didn't really look any further into it. The next day I looked at Ezoic, saw a big spike in earnings. I thought, oh no, I'm going to get banned here for fake clicks. And then about a week later I looked in Ahrefs and saw a big spike in referring domains and thought, oh dear, it's just another link spam attack. So I forgot about it. I thought hopefully nothing will come of it. But then a few days later I had a closer look and realised that all of those links are actually pretty decent links from all these news sites. After this, a few days passed, traffic dropped back down to normal, down to about 300 sessions a day. But then 2 weeks later it started growing and growing again really fast. Over the next 4 months it skyrocketed from 11,000 monthly users to almost 50,000. So, despite my previous video where I claimed that I don't often build links anymore, links do clearly work. In fact, they work really well when they are built from sites that are hard to obtain links from at scale. As I said in my previous video, despite the huge impact links have had on this site, I'm not going to go out and change my strategy anytime soon. I don't have the budget to replicate the type of link building at that kind of scale. I was simply lucky there because I focused on content. The small amount of content I did have ranking just happened to be in the right place, which is number one, at the right time, which was when a journalist was looking for it. If I hadn't got those links, I'm confident this site would have continued to grow, just not quite at the same pace. Currently it's getting about 1,800 users visiting it every day. Based on my experience of growing sites in the past, I think that without links it could have got 1,000 users a day by now, based on the volume of content that's been added to it. So a few key things that I've learned from this site. One, there are still plenty of underserved low competition niches out there that you can make good money in. Two, you don't have to be writing 1,000 words plus for every tiny keyword you find. Just focus on giving clear, concise answers and you can rank very well, even with as little as 200 words. I've got loads of articles on this site that are way less than 500 words that rank in the top 3. The right links can make a big difference. However, they are either very time consuming or very expensive to get. So I won't be changing my strategy anytime soon. Certainly not for any of my low competition sites. Going forward with this site, I've got a few goals for it. One, I want to keep adding content. I want to get it up to at least 300 articles, so I'm going to add at least another 100. This niche is very small, as I've said, so I'm getting to the point where it's starting to become difficult to find decent keywords to write about. But I think 300 is achievable. Two, I want to increase the affiliate earnings. I'd love to get them up to about $500 a month. There's not a huge amount of products in this niche, but again, I think this is doable if I can get sort of 2 or 3 of the bigger products in the niche ranking top. It shouldn't be too hard given the amount of competition. Another thing I'd like to do, and this is something I've got no experience of doing, but I'd love to do it because I think this site is just right for it, is I'd love to sell an ebook on this site relating to the niche, which would basically be sort of all the key articles summarised in a concise and easily digestible way. I don't fancy writing that myself, to be honest, so if you know anyone who's good at that, do let me know. And 4, in terms of long-term goals for this site, I don't think I want to sell it anytime soon, just because it's a low competition, evergreen niche. The rankings really shouldn't be that hard to maintain, even if I stop uploading content for a long period of time. And unlike my other site that I did a video on, I'm not reliant on 1 or 2 big traffic pages for most of my traffic. It's nicely spread out across a lot of pages. So I think I'll be keeping hold of it for the foreseeable future, and I'll see if it's possible to get this site up to 100,000 users a month. So I hope you found that vaguely interesting, vaguely useful. As always, please do smash that like button. Gently click the subscribe button too if you haven't already. And yeah, leave a comment below if you've got any questions at all about it. And I will see you in the next one.